We should have at least.
Hi, Nick. We're going to look at a special game with one of the company chess champions of the South Island for 2022 to 23, Matthew McNabb's game as black against uh, the contender for the South Island Chess Championships as well, Quentin Johnson from Otago Chess, and notably very, very important person for Otago Chess, as he's been very, very instrumental in coaching the juniors and also as an arbiter, uh, as he is an arbiter, performing the inter-school chess championships and that sort of thing, where he's running that with his wife alongside. So that's something to be noted and to be respected and appreciated, that there are people out there that are in administration, such as Craig Hall, and also Mr. Eng, I think, from Auckland Chess. He's major arbiter of Apheus Eng also. So sorry about that. I've got the name wrong. But anyway, so Quentin is quite instrumental in that regard, and I often laugh about the chess positions that are set up for the juniors at the Otago Chess Club on all the array of chessboards or tables that they've got, which is where I derive from, of course, Dunedin. And my friend would be saying, my friend at least, and I want to just sing out to my condolences to the Basman family in losing a great English player yesterday or the day before or whenever the day was. So, or maybe it's
Michael Basman.
yeah, he
Did he
died,
die yesterday?
and
Oh, didn't
so
know that.
I saw that on Facebook. So I want to just acknowledge him, and I want to acknowledge the administrators like Quentin and Craig Hall, especially for the South Island. And so here we go. We're going to have a look at this game today. And thank you again, Nick. I should be able to do something for this for you.
Right, so it's interesting. I didn't realize Michael Basman
Yeah.
died. I've got all of his books. They they took me down a slippery slope of playing A6 and A3 and the Grob and yeah, really creative player. He came up with some fantastic ideas. I
Mm-hmm.
know Miles always gets credit for that game against Karpov, but really it was Basman that kind of came up with all those kind of openings, if you can call them openings, systems, I guess. Yeah, so anyway, what do we
We're going to,
Quentin and McNabb. Very
yes,
important game this one, wasn't it? 'Cause it was in round
yes,
five and they were both
yes.
very much in contention. So whoever won this one
Yeah, so
would
even a draw for Quinton would result in a very good result
but even
here.
round eight, Quentin was in contention. If he managed to win his round eight game, he still
Yeah,
could
you
have been
said.
South Island champion. So he's obviously bounced back after this game. So not
Yes,
to
it
give
would
the
be
result
very
away, but
hard to bounce back. And I am intrigued that they both play my system. I had a bit of joking. It went a bit far yesterday, I thought. But I thought it's almost like I was helping them by transmitting my moves by Morse code or some other feature. So here we go. Let's have a look.
I hope you didn't transmit 92 to him because it's a shocking move. I
Yeah,
thought this.
that's why I would take the blame, because he's been learning off a very good chess friend of mine in Otago, because my chess friend has been deviating from my main line. mine. It's all mine. It's all mine. So anyway, D5. So they're not playing your E5 move, are they, Nick?
My E5 move.
Yeah, as black against the queen pawn. They're not playing the game that you played against Felix and
Well,
happened to
that
get a
was the
draw.
Queen's Gambit. Queen's Gambit accepted. The Slav. It's too boring for me. This Slav. Even. It's pretty solid, isn't it, for black? Pretty solid.
Well, we could
But,
look at his rapid game as
this is a good
black.
one to. This is quite instructive. This game, I think, for
Okay. Yeah, I
various
agree.
reasons.
Yeah, I
Um,
agree. So this is actually Magnus's move, or
yeah, it's
Magnus has played
not
this.
the most popular, is it? But it's quite. I mean, it looks like, according to the database there, that it's been played a few hundred
Yeah,
times. So.
yeah, a few hundred times. I hadn't noticed that when we were recording this before, but yes, it's this has been played by Magnus, but Magnus can play anything, can't he?
Yeah,
And
but you look at the scores. White's done well with this line. If you look
yeah,
at it, it's very small winning percentages for black.
yeah. Hold on, I'll just shut the curtain. I might make it darker now. Oh, I look so dark, don't I? Dark. And yeah, so I find myself that this seems quite an odd sort of a move, but I was very surprised to find that Magnus has played it on move 5. And like yesterday you said it's a move, and so you knew more about it than me because I thought it looked a bit odd, but shows you how much I know about chess. But with bishop b4, if bishop d2 now, okay, if bishop d2, then if we play bishop d2, then no possibility is knight e4, as black will lose a piece to knight takes e4, and thereby attacking the bishop on b4. And with capture of bishop d2 check, knight comes back to capture the bishop, and that would be a win. And I think you'll find the other variations are correct in what I'm saying, because if pawn takes knight after knight e4, d e4, we have just simply bishop takes b4. Okay, so and for those junior players out there, or for the new players out there, black is threatening. Uh, uh, Matthew is threatening with the move. This is it's always good to develop with a threat. And black is actually threatening bishop takes knight, ouch, check. Okay. And thereby also choose or opt to take the rook on a1, which will be pretty mind-boggling. And we wouldn't be watching this game at all, I think, but we might be. So here, bishop c3 check is threatened. Bishop takes c3 check is threatened. So, and why do I do algebraic notation? Because when you're playing a over the board classical game of chess or rapid, I think some rapids will get you to have to record the game. And if you don't, then you lose. You lose if you don't bring to the arbiter a completed score sheet. I think that's still correct. You will have some difficulty with the arbiter, at least, like a
This move
Craig
here,
Hall.
it
Yeah, so
this
we're
move
talking
here
about
hasn't
92.
been played at all, has it? 92.
No, the
It just
database has gone right out. And so
it
maybe, yeah,
it just looks like it's not doing anything at all, really. It's blocking in the bishop, and it just looks like it should be on f3, doesn't it? It's the knights are just getting in each other's way because black has no intention of taking on c3. It makes sense if black took on c3, but he's not going to. So the knights are just in each other's way a little bit.
yeah, I
But,
think so. I concur.
what was the line after bishop b2? Go back one and see. Put it in the click on the bishop b2 on the database there and see what
And can we go forward now?
94. 94.
Oh,
Yeah, click on
okay.
it again. No,
And then I haven't really done this. Queen
E2.
C2 would be the sort of Rubinstein variation, isn't it? Well, it's sort of a Rubinstein move, isn't it? Is it Rubinstein?
Quite messy, isn't it? As black can play F5, E5. E5 looks like
E5.
a
Oh,
strange one. That's the
what's the
most
computer
common.
saying to play? As we might just spend quite a bit of time on we're both reasonable exponents of the game of chess, I believe. We've
Looks
played it
quite good
all our
for
life.
black, I think, all this, doesn't it? At club level, it's kind of black's getting his pieces out. He's
Yeah, and as I said yesterday, we can go Queen A5 with the idea of Rook C1 and the greedy Queen A2, but it's Queen A2 and we're threatening just a massive swap off and win a pawn. But it's a little bit sort of not the best thing to do in the opening is to go pawn grabbing or to move one's pieces more than once and that sort of thing. But this is what the computer's saying to continue in. So this is the normality.
it's not the most challenging system for white, is it, really? It's
No.
any of this.
And
Anyway,
like
we
you
better
said,
go back, I
yeah,
suppose.
and like you said, Nick, E5 is the top move here, and then F5, the best move on the planet, is the next move.
Mm.
So I'm a little bit disappointed in that. I'll probably be
It
quite
looks
quiet now.
reasonable. I mean, black's ready to castle and get on with his business already. White hasn't developed his king side at all, and yeah.
Yeah. So we've got the gameplay, which is, and like I completely agree. I keep reiterating to myself as well, and to those out there that viewers and listeners and all that sort of thing. Maybe some people might not want to listen, and but I keep reiterating what I've learned as well, the hard way, is development, centralization, and king safety. And some people say knights on the rim are dim, those sorts of things. Well, yeah, you can go there, but I think the major three principles of the opening, until you've developed properly, means your rooks are looking at each other. You've moved your pieces at you know their initial move only, their first initial move from their home square. You've moved it only once. Sometimes you have to move it. In this case, Quentin's going to have to move this knight to get the bishop out, obviously. And as well, we've got development, we've got centralization. Well, both players have got some central looking activity here. I think you'd agree. And white's played 4 pawn moves, and that's not all to come. And black's played 3 pawn moves. So we've had to play some pawn moves to get the pieces out, obviously, but then we've also got to think about our king, okay? Now, the king's safety. So they are the 3 main principles that the great grandmasters will agree with me on. And if you can, of course, if you can take a piece in the center or even on the flank for free, then you can break that rule, because rules are made, these principles aren't rules. They're not sort of saying you cannot move your king into check. They're not that sort of absolute law in chess, but these are principles and they can be broken. But Nimzovich says, do not capture like I was doing before, Queen A5 and Queen A2 before. Nimzovich would say, don't go pawn grabbing, especially with your queen, flank pawns. But if you get a central pawn, I think Nick will agree, if you can gain a central pawn and have a pretty good position after it, then it's actually quite okay. It's a sort of, again, to an exception of the principle. But there's Ramiro, who came first equal, and I've asked to feature his game on here, a game from him as well. So I'm yet to hear from my friend in Dunedin.
I don't
So
think you
moving
really
on.
need permission, though, do you, to
No,
look at
the
some of
public
these
domain, but
games? A public domain.
I prefer to get his input. And where I have actually had, I have had that um, affirmation from Matthew McNabb to place this game on here. I haven't had it from Quentin, but I'm sure he will understand because I do speak highly of Quentin. He's a very, very good opponent. In fact, we got third equal a long time ago in a very strong tournament that Paul Garbett was first, I think. Was it? Okay, I'm not sure.
All right, so
Oh,
what
I don't know.
happens
Yeah,
in
so
there? It's
this
a
is all right.
normal developing move.
We're okay with this. A3. So um, we have a few options here. We have bishop c3, we have bishop d6, e7, a5. They're the only ones I care to look at. Some people might play bishop f8, but I don't think so.
I think bishop d6 is best, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. And that's what Matthew did play. And now we have c5 thrust. Now, you weren't very happy about this yesterday.
No, the e5 square for black looks very good now, doesn't it? What black's got
Yeah.
the pawn breaks. Black's got the b6 pawn break, the e5 pawn break, and I don't know what White's plan is here. Really,
Yeah, because he's got to, like I
he's
say
blocked his
that
bishop in. He's blocked his bishop in. He's already moved his b pawn, and now he's going to have to move it to b4 again.
probably
And he's not
yes.
his
Doesn't
knights
have
aren't
to.
his knights aren't on the best squares, are they?
No.
I just don't really understand what he's going to do. If he plays e4 at any stage, then he's going to weaken. He's going to give black a d5 square for his pieces. And
Well, he could look to play knight g3, f3, e4, could he? Something like
yeah, I
that.
guess he could go try that. I suppose
But
he
like,
probably should.
what was
Needs
that,
to
Nick?
move that knight somewhere, doesn't he? But
Yeah.
yeah, maybe knight g3, bishop d3. But black's going to get e5 in, I think.
Yeah,
That's the
I
problem.
think so. Um, yeah, I really feel um, Black will want to play e5 here. Black will be looking at
Hmm.
that. And that's why Matthew does play bishop c7 with a view. I'm not sure completely because I know the game continuation. It was a little bit like your game with Felix, a wee bit like it could have ended in a draw because it might have been a bit fair, that result, a draw, because like probably black is playing better, or black does play better. I play the French, of course, and if we transposition white's position as black's, then I don't feel very comfortable with a knight on e7, if you get what I mean. So, and that great word transformation is used a lot by Hans Niemann, I've noticed. He says a transformation of a transformation of a transformation. So here we got bishop c7 moving on, but all that talk about e5 break is now stopped. We're stopping all communication on that basis because we're not going to look at e5 now. So I know Quentin saw it.
I don't so.
Okay, well,
It's
we'll
come at a
put that one to
cost, though,
sleep.
isn't it? Playing f4.
So we could play for black. I was thinking about this now.
That knight on e2 belongs on e5, doesn't it, really? But
Oh yes, I
it's
agree.
like, maybe knight g1. It's slow, but knight g1, knight s3, knight e5.
Yeah, but we oh yeah. No, I was just thinking. No, I was thinking for black. I was thinking of for black 94 and DE4, and then we can go the f5 and knight f6, knight d5 sort of thing. We'll
I
get a
think that
knight
would be good for
sitting.
white, wouldn't it, if
Will
black
that?
ends
Yeah.
up with a pawn on e4?
Uh-huh. But do we? Yeah, you're sure?
Hmm?
Probably. But can we
I
not
think
play
that would be good
f5
for
and knight
white.
d f6 d5? Can we not play that? Because
Well,
I'm not. Hmm?
I think you want to put your knight on e4 when white can't chop it off.
Yeah, well, that happens. Yeah, but can we look at an f5, e4, e6, knight f6 to knight d5 sort of structure for black
You think
long
black should
term?
play f5 as well?
After 94, yeah.
I don't know about that.
And Basman was really well known for unorthodox chess, and so uh, he made his mark there, and he had some big scalps. He beat some very strong chess players in his time, particularly that of the 70s and 80s. So moving on, we've got after f4. I probably would maybe play b6, or I might play
Hmm.
a5, or I probably would castle. What do you think? What would you play here, Nick?
Yeah, I think castling would probably be the way to go, wouldn't it?
So would
Work out
Quentin
what
be
happens from there. Finish
would
developing first.
yeah, would Quentin want to be launching some sort of
What's key? Yeah, he
pawn
might,
storm?
mightn't he? He might well do. He'll be looking at getting G4 in, won't he? So
Yeah.
maybe just play rook G1 even and
No, he might just play
G4.
G4, just one move. Oh, maybe not. But you could just about play G4 just on the spot.
But I think you're right. Black's going to have to go for the try and open up queen side, isn't he? Yeah.
Oh, I think Matthew's right, not me. I think Matthew is right here.
He probably is, to be honest. I mean, castling gives white a target, I guess, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You
And
get
I think
stuck
that,
into him as quickly as possible.
yeah, and this is a move that I would call a move that's going to cause a reaction. There's going to be a capture or protection or some sort of frazzlement. Do you
Hmm.
agree? Do you
Well,
think so?
if white takes, then black's going to get c5 in, and
And
everything's going
also
to be
get
rolling forward, isn't it?
rid of
Yeah,
this
it's all
bad
going to be
white
rolling
square bishop.
forward. That means white has to play b4, doesn't he? Really?
B4
Hang on,
and
go. Don't do that one. After b? What about a5 here? Is that?
oh yeah, probably perfectly fine. It's the sort of move I play, but then we might get into sort of like just bishop b2, wouldn't we? Wouldn't we get into
Maybe
bishop
white
b2
can
after?
play b5.
Maybe white can play b5. Yeah, that looks quite good. But also, yeah, I think
What
the
does the engine
positional move.
say? Can you turn stockfish on? And
I can do that this time. I don't know if I can.
it's up the top there on the right,
Up on the top of the right. Well, we're in the way.
just above your where your mouse is now.
Okay.
No, but you can move you over. That's it. It's on now.
Okay, we'll put this
Oh,
on now.
it recommends a5 or castling.
By the way, there's a tactic later on when Quentin moves his bishop to e1, there was a threat of queen e2 check
Ah,
and knight c3 check and capture, and knight takes queen on a4. So if we go too fast, or if I, just say, oh, you're cheating, Wegener, because you're reading what Stockfish is saying. You're just cheated. If you want to check out the Heather Wegener game, I do suggest you check that out, especially if you like to see games at that level. But I consider her game was above her level. Anyway, BC5 and BC5, and that will be under some sort of, like, Nick and I look at a strong non-committal tournament player, something like that. I don't know. Bishop A5. So we've got this. This is actually move 4 moves now.
Bishop's back on the knight.
Yeah, the bishop's back on the knight, taunting the knight and reminding it. And here the move that Quentin played on move 12 is bishop G2, which is also Stockfish's idea. And now we've got, oh no, they might be checking it out on the computer, because now bishop A6 is Matthew's move and it's also the computer's move. But here, sorry, Otago have lost the race in this regard. I know they don't lose other races, but they've lost the race. Queen A4 is the last one here to play here. But we were met for Otago versus Canterbury for the South Island Cup, knight G3. And we got about 9 minutes, 40 seconds to go. So I'm just letting you know what the time is on the recording. I can always we can always do 2 bits of this and just
we should be okay because it's over soon anyway, I think, pretty much.
Oh yeah, I know. I think so. Bishop C3. I'm not particularly sure that that's necessary, but it's good because we've got this horrible move to meet for
yeah, what can White do here? It's the knight coming into E4. It's a problem, isn't it? Black's going to stick his knight on E4.
Yeah, and notice the sweet tactic. If H4, okay, notice the sweet tactic, knight here. And then we go, oh, hang on, we can take the pawn. And then once the rook takes, then the queen can take the knight. But there is an intermediate move, which is actually a capture. And that is after H4. After H4, which the computer suggests H3, which was played. Again, Quentin's played the Stockfish 14 move. So it's not particularly bad to play, really. It's still quite good. So after H4, we have knight G4, knight H5, and then we have queen H4 check. And this is attacking the knight on H5, you see. And so if G3, not knight G3 because queen G3, but if G3 attacking the queen, then the queen just merely captures the knight on H5 from white and is at the same time simultaneously defending knight G4. Moving on. H3, which is, and now Matthew, and it's a race to see who doesn't get the computer move again.
Just horrible now, isn't it?
So far, every move the computer is agreeing with these players. And now we've even got queen A4, which was agreed upon by the computer. Oh, rook F3. Queen A4, queen C8. So when I look at it with Stockfish Cloud, I'm thinking that this is it's now in Matthew's favor. I now think that it's a bit better than what it looked like yesterday. Now rook F3 is mentioned, but black has a minus 2.4 in their favor, which I think is winning. Rook F3, it's a bit clumsy, isn't it, White's game? Probably because of 92 or...
Very passive now. It looks no way back, is there really? I mean, sometimes when Stockfish is 2.4 up, it's messy enough so it doesn't really matter. But in this position, it just looks bad.
Stockfish is asking to play queen b7, but Matthew plays a5. So Stockfish is suggesting queen b7.
They're all good though, aren't they, in this position?
Yeah, and of course, if the bishop takes
even something like king e7, the computer would still think black was doing all right. So
yes, and if capture on a5 with the bishop after a5, then that would be no good because queen a6 will be ganging up on this. And then a bishop c3 is no good here for a couple of reasons other than queen takes queen. We have queen takes e2, king takes e2 forced, knight c3 check, king moves, and knight takes queen. So just a little
That
bit
rook
of...
on f3, it's just
Yeah, we're trying to get the king.
hopeless, isn't it?
I think white's trying to move their king out of this area of the board and
Is that what he
protect
does?
things. Yeah, soon. King f1 is the suggested move by Stockfish 14 again. And now it's 1.6 minus. Now, queen a6 comes about. Now, what's the threat, Nick?
It's very nasty because it stops the king disappearing into the corner, for one thing.
As well.
Pinning
So
the
what's the
knight, and
threat,
it's
though?
threatening knight takes c3.
Oh, yeah, it's threatening that,
It's an
but
immediate
it's also
threat.
threatening a little bit. I don't know if is that the evolutionary tactic or the revolutionary one? I think that the revolutionary one, although, yeah, I think that queen e2 is nicer. But see, there's the style. My style would be going queen e2, king
Queen takes
e2, knight
e2.
c3 check, knight a4, because the checks are forceful. If you
Hmm.
check, then they're forceful, as Susan Polgar says, one of the best methodical chess players on the planet.
That would win 2 pieces, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So
Game over straight away. Andy White's not going to leave his bishop there, is he?
no, so he makes again. I forgot to say who's winning the race for the last Otago Christchurch race for who sticks to Stockfish's smelly, the Dutch have a saying about family and friends. Family and friends are like fish. After a few days, they start to smell. Anyway, moving on, bishop e1 is the preferred move from Stockfish. So there you go. Rook b8. And here he
The
goes
open
again. Queen
file.
c2 again.
Rook was coming to b2, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and here he's done it again. Queen c2, he's done it again. Now, I wonder if f5 is going to be the move. No, it went down a wee bit, didn't it? f5, it's not the preferred move.
Just castles, the computer thinks.
Yes, I see that. f5, but it's a good move, though, f5, we must admit.
Completely
King g1.
stops any counterplay whatsoever, doesn't it? F5.
Yeah.
I don't know
You're
if White would have
talking,
played F5.
we've got
If
3
Black
minutes.
hadn't done it. But
We've got 3 minutes, 2:50.
just double rooks and
You were
that's
saying
it,
knight
I'd
c3
say.
here, weren't you, yesterday?
Not in this position.
You were saying knight c3 here, but I think that
Oh,
after
for
knight c3,
White.
we've got queen c4, rook b3,
Hmm.
a4, maybe king up or something. Not there.
Can
Because you
White
get...
play knight to c1 and knight
Yeah,
to
white played knight
d3?
c1. Look,
Knight c1 and knight to...
knight
Well, the
c1's the
computer
preferred
likes knight
move.
c1. Yeah, exactly. At least it go into
They played really
e5.
well. They played really well. I can't believe it. Knight d3. What? Shall we do a grand slam? Now we've got the double up. Now,
Now it's the problem starting. What about that? I don't know about rook d1. What does that do?
no, it said queen d1. But the computer would make this game last for another.
Well, the computer doesn't think White's doing too badly now, does it?
No, 0.8. But here's this move.
H pawn's hanging. If White can never get a hold of the H pawn.
1 minute.
Hang on, why is the score completely collapsed? What's
because of these moves. Because
what went
they're
wrong?
saying now night before now.
Go back one.
Look at this night before. This is winning an exchange.
Go back one move.
I haven't got much time.
Rook d1's minus 5.5.
Do we want to just connect them up together.
So
I
rook
can do that.
c1 would have stopped all that, wouldn't it? Rook c1 instead of rook d1.
Uh, Queen D1.
What about rook c1 here? Does it?
I haven't got enough time for that unless we just want to do part one and part two.
Oh, no, that's
So,
okay. So rook d1 looks like it's a crucial mistake.
yeah. And here we got the problem with the
Thing
bishop on
is,
E1.
when you start
Okay, we're
getting
going
a
to go.
bad position, when you start getting a bad position like that, then it's easier to make mistakes, isn't it? And
Yeah.
they tend to have more severe consequences. Whereas when you're attacking, it doesn't. Like if black made a slight error in this position, it wouldn't matter too much.
Yeah, but the time's running
White,
out.
it's fatal.
So this is part two, but we'll probably edit this with NCH. Thank you, NCH and OBS and all those great things. What's your favorite platform, by the way, Nick? Just in listening blue.
OBS. I use OBS and I'm recording
Oh, yes,
YouTube videos, etc.
I realize that. And thank you, OBS and Streamlabs. But what I mean is, what's your favorite chess platform?
My favorite chess platform, Lee Chess or Live Chess or whatever you pronounce it.
Okay.
I've been looking at Chessboard lately. I bought a Chessable course recently, and
Did you?
I've been doing little bits on there. I don't know if I like it or not, though, very much.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't like the repetition thing that they do on there. You spend your whole time clicking next all the time. I'm not sure how good it is for actually learning anything.
Yeah.
But the course itself that I got was pretty good. I won't say what it is because then I'll get prepared against.
Now, I've got some problem with, can you see me in that picture?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I can't see me, so I don't know why that's happening.
So this is the final position, is it, from the game?
Yeah, this is the final position.
So what happens? White takes. Got to take
Can you
the bishop.
see yourself, though? Can you see yourself in the picture?
Yeah, I can see myself.
Okay.
So white takes, black takes, then white has to play
King F1 or Rook F1.
Rook F1, I guess.
I think
then
so.
What happens?
So you'd play this on still, wouldn't you, a wee bit? Would you play this on?
What's happening? Takes, Rook C1,
Rook F1, I mean,
C3.
Yeah.
I think they can't stop C pawn, can he? That's the problem. I think the C pawn queens forces the loss of a piece. Can you move the bits forward?
Oh, it's no good, is it, that C pawn?
Can't you move the pieces?
No, it doesn't look. Wonder what Stockfish would say. What Stockfish is
says
saying?
Rook takes, Rook F1, C3.
Yeah.
I think white loses his bishop. He has to give up the bishop to stop the C pawn. So it's quite a well played game by black, really.
Yeah, and white.
And yeah, I mean, Quentin got
Surprising.
himself into a lot of difficulties, didn't he? It's very
Yeah.
It just shows how badly an opening can go wrong so quickly, really. Just from playing knight to E2, wasn't it, really?
Yeah, well, that's the thing about
He just
the
never developed his pieces, and F4 turned into a huge weakness in the end.
Yeah.
Lowering that knight into E4.
Yeah, there's something there that happened with the 94. It was the capture or something about leading the knight. Huh?
Black played well, just clearing the decks so that he could play knight E4 unopposed.
Yeah.
But it's very difficult for white to really do anything, wasn't it?
Yeah. I agree.
We can see why 92's never been played in a Grandmaster game.
No, it's the move that we can play though, isn't it?
Hmm.
But
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to do, isn't it?
yeah, and I was quite surprised with the way Stockfish agreed with the whole process. Really, that I was quite surprised with that. That the moves were still very good, all the best
For
under the
both
given
sides.
circumstances. Yeah. Um, so
Are we going to have a look at this rapid game now?
yeah, okay. I think
We
we'll
may
look
as
at that
well, I
rapid
guess.
game now then, I think. Do you want to do that? Because
Yeah,
that's
why not? I've got a
probably
bit of time.
okay. Oh, well, thank you. Now, how do I find the rapid game now?